Hello everyone, happy Thursday. I hope everyone's having a great week so far. I'll just allow everyone to get settled. You can turn your camera on or off. I know some of you guys are busy and or maybe you're having lunch and you don't want to be on camera, so we get that. We're also live in our Facebook group. So if you're joining us on the Montessori Thrive Facebook group, welcome. You can use the comment section to ask any questions. We'll make sure those are answered. If you're joining us here on Zoom, you can use the chat at any point, and this is very much a collaborative space. So if you have any questions, comments, or ideas you want to share, you can unmute yourself and discuss. This is very much a place for Montessori school leaders to connect. We know it's hard when you're in the leadership position and you have everyone answering to you, but you don't have anyone that you may be able to discuss leadership with. So these town halls are very much a space for that. We host them every Thursday from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. Eastern. They're always free to join. And today we're talking about growing your enrollment through online marketing. So here at Nido Marketing, that's our specialty, is Montessori marketing. So every now and then we'll host a town hall just to discuss different marketing strategies and how schools can reach more prospective parents online. And that's the focus of today's call. So if this is something that you're looking to do in your school or you want some tips, then you're in the right place. And again, feel free to ask any questions throughout the call. Here's just a brief overview of what we're going to be discussing today. Hopefully we can get through it in the hour. If we can't for any reason, we'll do a part 2 and maybe continue later on, because I know I don't want to go over time too much. Everyone's very busy. But we'll talk a little bit about the Montessori admissions funnel. And this is very much a model that we use to kind of measure a prospective parent's journey from, interest all the way down to when they actually enroll at our school. We'll look at the family life cycle. So that's from when they enroll all the way through to when they, finish partnering with our schools. We'll also take a look at the Montessori avatar, or our ideal prospective parent. We'll also look at what makes a website good in terms of marketing and for growing your enrollment. We'll also talk a little bit about content marketing, because that's really important in the Montessori space. We really have to educate our target consumer. We'll also briefly talk about using social platforms, especially Instagram, which is probably the most important one right now. We'll see how we can measure success, because that's something that we want to be able to do, is see if our marketing efforts are actually paying off. We'll share some resources and we'll have some time for Q&A and discussion at the end, hopefully. So first things first, when you're, starting out in the marketing world, you really have to understand your audience. If you want to successfully grow your admissions and enrollment, you want to be able to reach the right prospective families, and this requires some researching, targeting, educating, and nurturing. If you've been in the Montessori space for a long time, you may really already know exactly who your target consumer is, how to target these people. If you're maybe new or you're looking to improve your marketing strategy, this is an area that you can look at so that you can really hone in on the right mission appropriate families. So first, we're going to dive into the Montessori admissions funnel. In marketing, we love using graphs and charts and things to break down so that we can fully understand our customer. In this case, that's prospective families and caregivers. Every school really needs to understand what we call the Montessori admissions funnel, so that they can fully take advantage of every step of that family's journey up until enrollment, and then afterwards as well. So the Montessori admissions process is different than traditional schooling model. We have to do a lot of educating and handholding because we're not a traditional school model. So not every parent that walks through our door was once a Montessori student, or they might not know what Montessori is, or they think they know about what Montessori is, but they might actually not. They have a lot of misconceptions perhaps. So it's important to understand the model and then see where you can take those opportunities to educate and nurture the family along the way. So this is just the broad overview of what the admissions funnel is. The very top is awareness. At the very bottom is enrollment. Every step you'll lose parents. That's just with any business, you'll lose people along the way. but it's important to take advantage and understand each step. Also, some parents might already start out in consideration. They know they want Montessori. So you're not necessarily going to get parents that start at the very top and work their way down. You're going to meet people at different levels. So the awareness stage, this is where a parent is just, becoming aware that they are going to need a solution to their child's education or a childcare need. This is going to be also the most nebulous stage because, again, these might be parents who are looking for daycare. They might be looking for a traditional model. They might not 100% want Montessori, and they're looking at other models like Waldorf. So all of these are things to consider in the awareness stage. This is where thought leadership is really important, and this can be achieved through content marketing. We'll talk a little bit about that later, but really you want to impress parents with having a lot of resources and content that's strategic on your website. And you also want to be speaking to their pain points, which in this case, during the awareness stage, is they need somewhere to leave their child while they're at work. They want their child to have a good foundation to set them up for better education in the future. And also another major pain point is going to be cost, tuition. So these are the things to probably address during the awareness stage. Interest is when parents are already examining their options. So they're looking at other models. They might be seeing where they want to tour. They're figuring out what is the right fit for them. This is where you can focus on educating parents on Montessori, and you're going to be probably answering some feeler questions that they might have. So in this stage, you can really take advantage of piquing their interest by having those frequently asked questions available on your school website. So maybe you have an FAQ section. You also want to have content that is educating parents about the benefits of Montessori. Why should they consider Montessori? And this will pique their interest and hopefully lead them down further into that funnel. Next is consideration, and this is their soft decision. So maybe they're like, okay, maybe it's time for me to consider Montessori, and I will want to schedule a tour or request an inquiry form. They're making these ghost engagements. And this is where lead magnets come into play. So a lead magnet, we'll talk about that as well when we'll talk about websites, is basically when you're offering a resource, such as a white paper, or maybe a quiz, or something that will be of value to parents in exchange for their contact information or email address. So these are important to have because this is a great way to gather leads of people who are genuinely considering your school. So this is someone who dove into your website and enjoyed the content enough to request a resource, and they're really a lead who is considering, enrolling. So you want to make sure that you have these things available on your website, and you have content that will help make that consideration process a little bit easier for them so that they can actually make that leap into interacting with you. Then is intent, and this is, you've captured their attention, they're really considering you, and they're scheduling tours. And this is where, you really want to step in and make sure that you're communicating well with parents, you're following up with them, you really are putting a lot of effort and energy into organizing great tours. This is also the stage where parents are looking around for more social proof. They might be looking at reviews. I know that Google reviews are no longer available for schools, but they might look at third-party platforms where reviews can be left of your school, or they might be asking around the community. Also, it's a great thing to include testimonials on your website. This is also the stage where they might do that first phone call or an official inquiry form with a question, or again, the scheduling of the tour. Next is the evaluation process, and this is really where you want to do a lot of work. That tour is usually what sells people on Montessori, coming into your classrooms, seeing the environment, seeing the materials, learning about the philosophy and the approach to education. So you want to make sure that you give a great tour. Also, this is an area where you really want to focus on your communication method and strategy. So what are you going to do in the lead up to a tour and as the follow-up? How are you going to nurture these prospects? So the people who came in for a tour, what is your follow-up procedure after they come in for a tour? Do you check in with them? Do you send a follow-up email? Do you do a personal call maybe a week after to see if they're interested in submitting an application? So this is something that you want to evaluate and make sure that you're doing very well. And this is also going to be a time for hand holding. So you want to break down the admissions process and make it as simple as possible and be really clear. You know, if you feel that a family was really interested, but you haven't heard from them, you can say, oh, we're getting close to starting a wait list, and we just knew that you were really excited about our program and wanted to check in if you were interested. So again, this is a time for a lot of hand holding and really evaluating your communication process with families after a tour. And finally is the enrollment process. This is like the deal closer. This is the family that you finally got to enroll in your program. And this is a time to over deliver and also manage expectations. So over deliver in the sense of you want it to be a very smooth process. So make sure everything is listed that that parent has to do in order to secure their spot. And you also want to manage expectations. So let families know what to expect when their child starts. I know a lot of Montessoris, especially for younger children, they might have a phase-in process. You want to sit down with these families one-on-one or do a phone call with them and really explain the process to them so they know what to expect on that first day. Especially nowadays, I think parents are very anxious post-pandemic. It's important to sit down with them and really make them feel safe. A lot of parents are just a little bit more anxious leaving their children, especially pandemic babies. So this is really a time to maybe reassess that approach, see how you can over deliver to families and make sure that they're ready for that first day, first week, first month of school. Any questions about the admissions funnel? I feel like usually the people who have joined these meetings before, they're already familiar because we've talked about the admissions funnel before. This is something that we revisit a lot. All right. Next is also the Montessori family life cycle, and this is more looking at a family's entire time with your school, because marketing doesn't end when that family enrolls. Once a family is enrolled, you also want to make sure that they have an amazing experience at your school, that you're able to retain that family, and you're able to also turn them into Montessori lovers for life, people who are going to advocate for your school, who are going to give good word of mouth and help you build a strong reputation. So all of these things are important if you want to market your school well. So number one is the exploration phase. This is very much in tune with the Montessori admissions funnel. You really want to give families a really good introduction to Montessori. This is why content marketing is probably one of the most important approaches when it comes to Montessori marketing. We'll talk more about that. But you really need to have good content throughout your website, throughout your marketing materials. And you want to have tools and resources for parents to just continue learning about Montessori, because if they don't understand the benefits, they're really not going to see the value long term. So these are the parents who may see, your Montessori school as a daycare. They're not going to understand the true value of what their child is taking away. So you want to make sure that you're always pointing out the benefits. This is a place where children are coming to learn and to build a strong foundation for life. This is not, just about playing or a place to spend time while parents are at work. This is very much an important and crucial time in a child's development, and we do the most in Montessori to take full advantage of that absorbent mind and these early periods of life where so much learning can take place. Number two is the commitment. So it's important to be very clear with families about what it means to enroll in a Montessori school. It's a commitment in the sense that your child is going to be entering a 3-year cycle, especially if they're, starting out in Montessori Casa, or if they're a toddler, or if they're in lower elementary, this is not, oh, we're going to leave them here for, until they reach kindergarten, and then we can take them out and put them in public school. While we have many parents who do that, it's great to explain the long-term commitment that Montessori requires. I think just setting those expectations early on and letting parents see that this is a big commitment. It's not just a place to, it's not just a traditional schooling model. Number 3 is engagement. This is when you want to make clear that your school is very much a community. You want to make every child's experience strong in your school, and family participation is crucial to that. So there are many ways that a school can increase parent engagement. Actually, just last week, we had a whole town hall on parent participation and engagement in the community. I highly recommend you watch that. It's on our YouTube channel right now if you missed out on last week's session. But I think that setting those expectations early on about what you want from families and the benefits that they'll gain by participating at your school are strong. And families who participate in our communities are going to be retained more easily. These are the people who are going to end up living your mission. These are the people who are going to see the benefits of Montessori. So it's important to take some time and really create parent education programs for people in your community, and encourage families to come in for observation, make that mandatory. All of this will really allow them to engage with your community and to see the value in Montessori. And then hopefully that'll lead to step 4, which is retention. You want to make sure to educate early and often. And we talk about this in content marketing. You can start educating families from the awareness stage. From when they become aware about your school and start exploring your website, you can start educating them, and you should be educating them on the benefits of Montessori. And you want to do that often. So by hosting parenting classes, maybe once or twice a year, or by offering additional parenting resources on your website, or by really having a great meeting and observation with them every year, all of this will help with your retention. Building a system for retention as well is great. So maybe that's, how do you look at retention from the start to finish? Do you have a 3-year commitment? Do you make parents sign a waiver that says we understand the importance of the kindergarten year? Do you have a session that really helps parents understand why we do 3-year cycles? Do you offer parenting courses, whether they're online or in person? And it helps to do a little roadmap of a child's experience through your school, as well as a family's experience through your school, because hopefully we're providing a lot of education for our children, but also for that family so they can understand the value of Montessori. And then 5 would be advocacy. So these are the parents who you've been able to retain for years. They're really enjoying your school. The children are thriving. And these parents are happy with their experience at your school. This is really going to be one of your greatest marketing resources, because social proof and having advocates of your school is going to build credibility. And ultimately, it's word of mouth that really can help you sell people in Montessori. If people have a great experience at your school, you'll be able to recruit new families and get them to enroll. So it's important to have a way to collect social proof. So ask parents for testimonials, maybe once a year, or if you see a parent who's really thriving in your community, you can ask them personally, look, we see how much you're loving our school. We see how much your child is succeeding in our classrooms. We'd love for you to write a short testimonial. It can just be a paragraph long. You can email it to us, but it's helpful to share success stories on our website. So you can ask personally as well. And you can also have referral systems. I know newer schools who are starting out and really are looking to recruit new families. This is a great strategy. You can offer maybe discounts or a perk to parents who are able to refer a new family who ends up enrolling at your school. So this can help as well. And finally, hopefully, we have families who are living our mission. So this is families who've gone all through the cycle and they are loving Montessori. They really understand the benefits. Their children are thriving and they are thriving. And these are usually people who are going to become Montessori advocates for life. And this is a great asset. You can utilize advocates in your marketing, believe it or not. Keep in touch with alumni. Parent advocates are great as well. You can have them in your open houses. You can keep in contact with them in case in the future they want to become Montessori teachers or guides themselves. Because usually in the Montessori space, there's people who will end up coming back because it's something that they really fall in love with and they really feel passionate about. So you can really take advantage of all of this and utilize each step for marketing. And I think that this is a really great way to look at Montessori marketing because we're not salesy people in Montessori. Our ultimate goal is to have people who live our mission, and we can take advantage of educating families, making sure they're thriving and happy in our communities, and creating advocates for our schools. Any questions on the Montessori life cycle? Okay. Next is the Montessori avatar, and this is always changing a little bit too, because I think every generation is a little bit different, every generation of parents, but it's important to understand your target customer. So a Montessori avatar is really what we use in the marketing world is just a name for the mission appropriate families that we're looking for to enroll in our school. Every school avatar will be a little bit unique because we might serve different age groups, different communities that have different values. So, as it says here, a Montessori school in Albuquerque might have a completely different avatar to a school in San Francisco or a Montessori school in New Delhi. So it's important to understand not only your community, but the type of families who you're trying to target and to get to enroll in your school. So feel free to take a screenshot of this or pause the video if you're watching on YouTube, but these are just some avatar building questions. This will also be available on Montessori Thrive later if you're a member. But these are just some things that you can ask yourself if you're trying to really assess the person that you're trying to reach to join your community. And this will help you get a better idea of where you can reach them and how you can reach them in more creative ways. But yeah, these are just some questions to ask yourself. All right, moving on now from the Montessori avatar. I mean, does everyone feel like they know the type of prospective parent or caregiver that they're trying to reach? I feel like usually that's the area that people are good at. All right, we'll talk about your school website because this really is your digital marketing foundation. If you don't have a good website, that's where you can really lose out on a lot of prospective families. So nowadays, our website might be the first thing that families will see of our school. There's no more yellow pages. That's a thing of the past now. So parents are most likely going on Google, they're going on a search engine, they're looking up different schools in their area. It's done geographically usually, and they'll click around to see the different options they have, and they'll visit your website. So it's crucial to give a strong first impression by building a website that's as beautiful as our environments. It's functional, it should run smoothly, and it should allow families to take that first step in the enrollment process, whether that's requesting a lead generator or filling out an inquiry form or scheduling a tour, whatever stage they're ready to meet you at, they should be able to take that next leap so that they can hopefully end up enrolling in your school. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to take a tour of our Nido sample site. This is our sample school website, and just some things to notice and to look out for is things like our modern design. We also have a device compatible websites because realistically, a lot of parents are visiting your website from an iPhone or a tablet nowadays. The amount of Montessori content and imagery throughout our website and how the content is strategic, our navigation bar, our gated tuition, I'll talk about that as well. Calls to action, CTAs, are really important. Lead generators, program information, and social proof as well. So let's go on the Nido site. So this is just a sample school website here. It's not a real school website. First thing you see is an immediate CTA. So you see Education for Life, a Montessori school serving children ages 3 months to 15 years. So they know exactly who you're targeting, and then an invitation to schedule a tour. As you scroll down, you are met with the school's mission. This is going to hopefully attract these mission appropriate families who you're trying to align with your goals. Here's a sample of a pop-up lead generator. So something that parents can interact with. Again, this is those ghost engagements, things that they can click around a little bit more and explore so they can figure out if Montessori is right for them and their child. Why Montessori? I think a lot of schools, when they start out with us and we haven't done their website over, they don't have things like this of why families choose Montessori. They might just have program information or a little bit of history of Montessori and then request more information. But really, you should be creating opportunities for prospective families to explore the benefits of Montessori directly from your website. So why should they take the next step? Why should they schedule a tour? And the reality is we have a lot of science backing up Montessori, and we have a lot of social proof. Here, they're met with our programs. And again, here is the social proof, the testimonials from families who've had a great experience at our school. Another call to action, an easy breakdown of how to apply, our blog so parents can learn more about Montessori directly from our website, and another lead generator. All of this is easy to navigate. We also have our ADA compliance software so that our websites are fully accessible. This is also a legal requirement. So if you don't have ADA compliant software on your website, just now is a good time to look into that because it is a legal requirement for schools. And here are just the different categories that you can explore in a navigation bar. Something I wanted to point out is the way that we approach tuition and fees on our website. So Camille built this out, that we did this a couple years ago now. We've created basically a landing page for tuition because this is usually the biggest pain point for families. So we're leading with a value here. We're breaking down what they're going to get at a Montessori school versus what they're not going to get. So it kind of eases that a little bit. And then here they can request tuition information. So we gate the tuition because usually what parents will do is they'll click on your homepage, they'll immediately go to tuition and fee. And if they don't like what they see, they won't explore your website anymore. They might not even come in for a tour. So you're losing them before you've even really gotten to educate them. And there's just so much value in a Montessori education. So by gating your tuition, you're getting important lead information. You can follow up with the parent and you can really explain the value of Montessori to them. So this is just another way that we're a little bit strategic with our marketing on our website. And again, in our blog as well, this is content marketing. Content marketing is just what it sounds like. It's very literal, is we're using content that we create in order to educate our customer. So when we're able to provide information that highlights the benefits of Montessori in our blog, on our program information, parents are learning about Montessori directly from us. This builds trust and credibility. So it's important to have areas on your school website where this learning can take place. So I highly recommend looking into creating a school blog. If you don't have the time, we have a content service at Nido Marketing where we write weekly blogs for Montessori schools. These are just some sample blogs. You can check them out. But it's really valuable to have this on your website. It also increases the amount of time a parent is spending on your website, which is beneficial because that's going to make them think, I'm spending a lot of time here and I'm continuously being drawn to this website. There's so much to learn. Maybe it's time to schedule a tour. So just creating those opportunities, you'll see that nowhere on our website is there a massive wall of text with no images, no design elements. Everything is broken up and purposefully designed. See, we have subsections here. consistent testimonials and social proof throughout our website. So I highly recommend, if you're looking for some inspiration, to check out nidosite.com. And this is just a sample website. All of the websites that Nido Marketing builds are customizable, so you can always make changes. And we'll take a look at some that we've actually built out in the slideshow, which I'll go back to now. So now that we've seen the sample website, and again, you can revisit that and play around with it if you're interested. We'll take a look at just some website transformations that we've done for real schools out there, real Montessori schools. So here's Chesterbrook Montessori. On the top, you'll see their before website. It was a functional website and it had some good content on there, but the design just felt a little bit more outdated. A couple years ago, it was really such a popular thing to have like the gradient in the background. But nowadays, something more sleek and a little bit more dynamic is better, and it looks a little bit more professional. There also wasn't a clear CTA front and center. It's just a picture, and then people could scroll down and they could learn more about Montessori. On their new homepage here, you see very easily schedule an info session. It's front and center on the website. You also see that they serve children aged 16 months to 6 years. The old website, you had to dig a little bit for that information, and that should be very clear. So, it just looks a little bit more professional. As a parent, which school website would you be a little bit more impressed in and you'd want to spend more time exploring and learning more about? Here's one we did for KIE International School, and they had a really basic website when we started working with them. None of these buttons were working properly. And it just didn't really feel Montessori, because when we build out Montessori websites, you want to make sure that it's actually reflective of what you're doing as a Montessori school. So your environments, the type of materials that we have. So we felt that the graphics that they used didn't really connect with the Montessori programs that they had. They have some amazing programs, including international language programs for their students. So we wanted to make that a little bit more clear on their website, and so that parents could really explore that. So their new website, it feels more authentic to who they are as a school. You have images from their actual programs, and parents can take a little bit more time actually clicking through and reading the content, whereas their old website wasn't really full of content at all. So as a parent, I'm probably going to spend a lot more time on this website, the new KIU website. The old one just looks a little basic, and it doesn't really tell me a lot about Montessori specifically. Here's another one we did for Country Hills Montessori. We just published this case study next week. So if you're curious to see some more before and after pictures to draw inspiration from, I highly recommend you check those out. Their old website, it was a template website. So this is a website that any type of business could have used this template. A lot of the stock photo imagery was quite obviously stock photo imagery. And it, again, wasn't connected to Montessori. So when we started working with Country Hills Montessori, when we build out websites, we have a stock photo library that's specifically for Montessori schools. And so we have imagery to play around with that actually connects with Montessori and is more reflective of what the schools that we work with are actually doing. And again, their new website, they have a beautiful CTA front and center. They had that CTA on their original website as well. As you can see, they still had the contact us button pretty clearly on their homepage. But we just feel that a more modern design, and one that doesn't look so much like a generic template with stock photos, speaks a little bit more to what the school is actually doing. So you can always check out these websites, and I recommend you check out our case studies so you can see some more before and after pictures. Because really, this is crucial to your Montessori marketing approach, is having a good website. Because if I'm a parent, which website am I spending the most time on? If these two were two different schools, which one am I more excited to go on a tour of? The school that has a blog that I got to click around and learn about Montessori, that has purposeful program information, that has pictures of Montessori classrooms. So these are all things that are valuable and are going to help you grow your enrollment and reach the right families. just wanted to review some website do's and don'ts. So some do's is to have those clear CTAs. On your homepage, you should have at least one clear CTA, whether that's fill out an inquiry form, contact us, schedule a tour. There should be something clearly stated that a parent can click on in order to take the next step. You should have testimonials. If you don't have social proof on your website, you really should, especially since Google reviews are no longer an option for schools anymore. You want to make sure to have testimonials on your website. A modern layout and design is crucial. If you have an outdated website nowadays, it comes across as unprofessional and uncredible. So it's crucial to have a good website. Beautiful imagery. So it's okay to use stock photo images if they're Montessori relevant. So don't use just generic, like kids drawing or something like that. It should really speak to Montessori. If you have school photography, even better. Strategic content, so things like a blog, content that actually tells parents the benefits of the programs. We speak Montessori every day. We use Montessori vocabulary every day. So we become almost, so used to speaking our lingo that we don't realize that new parents may not understand our lingo yet. So we need to be, strategic with our content and break down why should a parent want to schedule a tour? Why is it beneficial for a child to be enrolled in Montessori? That's how you want to be phrasing your content and copywriting throughout your website. You should have automations on your website. By this, I mean, whenever they fill out a lead generator, they should automatically be able to get an email. They should be able to click something and something happen on your website nowadays. If all you have is a phone number and an email, it just isn't good enough nowadays. You need to have a way for a parent to be able to interact with your school at any point in time. That just is the expectation nowadays when it comes to using a website. Branding should be great. You shouldn't be, using outdated, blurry graphics. Everything should be cohesive. Don't use 50 different shades of blue. Use your school logo's shade of blue. And make that consistent throughout. And you should include lead generators. You should have ways to collect lead information from your website so you can follow up and check in with them. Websites don't, and I see this every now and then. You don't want to have giant walls of text on your website. That scares parents away, and people want to see imagery. That's what's going to speak a little bit more. A picture is worth 1,000 words. So break up your text and be strategic with your content. No outdated graphics. You shouldn't have a difficult to navigate design. It should be easy to use on an iPhone or on a computer. Avoid generic stock photos. If there's no way for families to take the next step, you're missing out on a way to generate leads, and you're almost creating obstacles for parents to reach out to you. You don't want to have, you need to have CTA. So if you don't have a clear CTA on your homepage, again, you're missing out on leads. And you don't want to just have program information. The amount of school websites that we start out with that just have a program information, tuition, and then contact us. That include more information so parents can spend time. Have a what is Montessori section, why Montessori, blogs, frequently asked questions. All of this it will increase the amount of time a parent spends on your website. And you don't want to have no social proof. So you want to have testimonials. We'll dive a little bit deeper into content marketing because having content is really crucial if you're looking to grow your enrollment. You want to educate families. We don't have the luxury of families just automatically knowing what they're getting with Montessori necessarily. So we often have to help parents that are new to Montessori unlearn some misconceptions or just start from scratch and teach them, these are the benefits and this is why, you should go with Montessori. So you want to make sure that you have content throughout your website, throughout your social platforms, throughout your marketing materials, such as your brochure, that really outlines what is Montessori and why should a parent consider it for their child. Here's just a list of things that we can communicate in the Montessori space that are so beneficial. And feel free to add any ideas. You can comment things in the chat as well. But sit down and just list out all the things you love about Montessori, all the things that are beneficial that they may not find in other programs. And this is a whole bunch of information that you can use to market your school and to provide, blogs, information, classes for your parents. So I would recommend to just sit down and take some time and brainstorm a list of all the benefits that are specific and unique to Montessori. So we know what we have as special. Now, these are our unique selling points, and we need to be communicating this consistently in our marketing. Again, we're not salesy people. We're not buy one, get one free. We are here to sell a lifestyle. We're here to provide high quality education to all of our students. And the best way to really communicate this is to provide resources and opportunities for learning throughout our marketing. So things like blogs, as I mentioned on our school website, this helps you become a thought leader. This helps you build trust and credibility, and it provides learning directly on your website. If a parent goes to visit another Montessori school and they have a blog section where they learned about the planes of development, they learned about the benefits of multi-age grouping from a different Montessori school, and they're probably going to end up picking that one because in their mind, they think, wow, they're a thought leader on this. Look at all the resources they provided. We learned it from them. Therefore, they're kind of an authority on it. So it just gives you an edge to have all of these things on your website. Also, from a digital marketing perspective, having a regular blog just keeps your website updated. It helps with SEO. So I know us Montessorians aren't thinking about that 24/7. We're thinking about just getting the right mission appropriate families, but it helps with that as well. So you really want to make sure to have this content being churned out regularly. This is why I say post regularly, whether that's weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever works for your schedule. You can also recycle the content. Say you published a great blog 4 years ago, you can republish it. There's new parents in your community now, so it's okay to do that. You don't have to always be churning out new content. Your website content is also a place where you want to be strategic. Avoid those walls of text. Avoid using too much Montessori speak because not everybody understands, our language yet. They don't maybe know what planes of development is, or so if you're going to explain a program information, you want to break that stuff down. Hold their hand as they explore your school website. Think about it as somebody that you're speaking to, someone who doesn't know about Montessori necessarily. That's how you want to think about it. How would you explain it to someone new? And that's how you should be approaching the content on your website. Then you can really dive deeper when you're in the tour. That's really where you want to do a lot more of that. You can explain more about grace and courtesy or the planes of development on the tour and show them one-on-one. But strategic with your website content. Email content is also important. I think schools are usually scared to use email marketing, but I think it works. And the reason why is it's a little bit more personal, and you can create a variety of email campaigns. So every time you get a new lead from your website, you can see where you got it from. Did you get it from a lead generator about a quiz if Montessori was right for them? Did you get it from an inquiry form where they asked a question? Did you get it from scheduling a tour? You can trigger a different email nurturing campaign for each lead. So that helps make it a little bit more personalized. It helps with the hand-holding process of getting them to the next step. So email nurturers are great. You can also use email nurturers for retention. So let's say you have families who are getting ready to start that kindergarten year and you want to make sure they're on board. You can call them in for a meeting. You can send them email nurturers. Growing your email list is valuable. So whenever you do get new leads to your website, keep those people on your list. And remember, you're not annoying them because they can always unsubscribe if they're actually annoyed and want to stop receiving your content. They can always just scroll down to the bottom of an email and unsubscribe. So continue sending out your newsletter to everybody on your email list. Continue reaching out to them or informing them about events. If they really weren't interested, they would just unsubscribe. Social posts is another way. We'll dive a little bit deeper into Instagram next, because I think that's probably the most important social platform to be on right now. But I think scheduling social content can really help, especially if you post educational content or just things that are going on day to day at your school. I think parents are becoming more and more active on social media as generations pass. We're reaching now the millennial parents, even some Gen Z parents who have spent a lot of their life on social media. So it's a great way to reach them and to teach them about Montessori and show them the benefits, and just to give them some insight into your community and what you're about. You can also share your blogs on social media. And again, you can recycle content on social media as well. Offering things like parenting classes, believe it or not, is also a part of your marketing strategy, whether that's recruiting new parents or retaining parents. You can always open up parenting classes to the wider community, or maybe offer a free parenting class as part of your open house or free parenting resources. Or you can, of course, just offer parenting classes to your current community with the end goal of retention in mind, and for those parents to really see the benefits of Montessori at home as well. But I think it's beneficial to be running parenting classes if you're not already in your community. Most schools already do this in one way or another, but I think it's super beneficial. Ultimately, your goal with all of this content that you're creating is thought leadership. Again, as I mentioned, that parent who's visiting different school websites, they're gonna feel a little bit more of a sense of trust with the website that has blogs that they learned about Montessori from, that has strategic content, that maybe has videos and pictures of the classroom, than a school that has stock photo imagery and all they have is a brief overview of their programs and then a contact us form. So that's just something to think about. And that just shows the power of a good website and content that is going to educate and nurture families from that first stage, from the early stages of the admissions funnel. So yeah, that's something to think about. You really want to make sure you are investing time in creating that content. If you don't have that, maybe you can outsource it. As I mentioned here, at Nido Marketing, we create content for school websites. It's one of our services, but it's something that is highly worth it, especially if one of your goals is to start a wait list, to fill up a program, or to just reach new parents. Content marketing and a great website can do a lot. Social media, this is how we meet parents where they are. As I mentioned, we're in the age of Instagram now. I think a couple years ago it was Facebook, and Facebook is still important because it's a great way to redirect parents to your website. But I think Instagram is the trendy platform right now, and that'll probably change in the future. Who knows? TikTok is very popular as well. But I think for schools, probably right now, Instagram is the most important. Luckily, it's easy to use. It's very user-friendly. So let's talk a little bit about Instagram. A great way as well, if you want to take the temperature of where you're going to meet parents in your community, is just run some surveys. Ask parents how they found out about your school. You can ask parents, are you more active on social media on Instagram or on Facebook or other platforms? How often do you use social media? You can gain some insights to see if it's actually worth investing a lot of your time and energy. This is just a sample of what a good Instagram profile looks like. This is our Nido Marketing Instagram, but for a school, it would go pretty much the same. You would have your school name. Your profile picture should be your logo. I see so often that people put like their school building. Don't do this. I think it just resonates a little bit more when you have your branding or your logo as your profile picture. You want to make sure it's a good image too. Don't use a blurry one. Make sure it's centered in that circle. Make sure it looks clean. You want to have your school name. Here's like a sample bio. You can put AMS accredited Montessori school in Washington, D.C., programs for children age 2 to 12. I know exactly what I'm looking at. And then you can link your website. You should link your website because ultimately you want to be drawing people to your website as much as you can. But just some things I want to point out is here, the little circles that you see, those are story highlights. This is an opportunity for branding. All of our posts are, our brand colors. Everything looks cohesive. You want to use good imagery. I highly recommend you look at our town hall on Instagram for Montessori schools if you want to dive deeper into specifically Instagram, because we go over all this, plus the new features that are available on Instagram. Also, you can reach out to me with any questions on social media. I'll send my email in the chat. If you have any personal questions you want to ask about social media, I'm happy to help and answer them. Just something to consider about Instagram is it's a visual platform. Facebook is less so. Facebook is a great place to share blogs and articles. Instagram, not so much. So it's all about great photography. You can also create beautiful videos. I think videos are becoming more important nowadays. Because there are less opportunities to link to your website than on Facebook, you want to be strategic. Have your website on your bio, and you can also post links on Instagram stories. Again, I go over how to post a story on our town hall recording for Instagram for Montessori schools, which is on our YouTube channel. Captions matter less on Instagram than they do on Facebook. So, don't worry about spending, 10 minutes writing a long paragraph. Something quick and to the point is usually enough. And trends are important if you want to look professional and relevant. Get your staff involved in helping you build a good Instagram. Don't just do it all yourself as an administrator. Maybe you can have the final say before something is published, but recruit your younger staff to go and take pictures of the classroom. And they're the ones who are so comfortable usually on social media. So they know how to create this content already naturally. They've grown up with it. Definitely outsource what you can. Consider your audience as well when it comes to all of your content, but especially social media. Usually what parents will do is they'll see, oh, this school, I'll look if they have an Instagram, and they'll stalk you a little bit. They'll be like, what are the pictures like on their Instagram? Like, does this look like a legitimate school? What do their environments look like? Like, I want to know what I'm getting myself into. People are doing this before they go to restaurants nowadays. They're definitely going to do it before they go to a school where they're considering sending their child for several hours a day. It's a big commitment. So have images of your beautiful environments. Show them what your students at work look like. Show off your school events, the community that you offer families. Post about the benefits of Montessori. What can a parent get at a Montessori school that they can't get anywhere else? And specifically at your Montessori school. Maybe you have a beautiful forest connected right to your school, or maybe you have a music program that's exceptional. You can showcase this on your social media. Images and videos of your school and how you stand out, and use this as an opportunity to brand your school, to share beautiful images, and to look professional and credible. So this will help you build just a stronger reputation online. What is your aim on Instagram? Believe it or not, it's not necessarily to have a bunch of followers or likes. That it could always be great to look and see how you can get more followers and parents who are in your community to follow you on Instagram, but really an Instagram that is good quality, that shows that posts good content, will gain followers over time. So just let parents know that you have an Instagram, you're active on there, and post valuable content that parents would want to see. So, you can ask this in a survey too, but usually it's what's going on at your school, what are the benefits of Montessori, and they want to see your classrooms and your day-to-day life at your school. And again, I mentioned this earlier, you don't have to run Instagram on your own. Delegate. Instagram can be a community effort. You can ask teachers and assistants to take pictures every day. What we had at our school is we had a list of the children who were approved to be posted on social media, because some parents didn't want their children posted online. And usually throughout the day, if there was a good opportunity, we just snap a picture here or there, and we would build up our arsenal of photograph content for social media that we could post. You can also repurpose content. You can have someone at your school organize a photo library for you to be able to create posts easily. And again, invite those young staff members. Nowadays, There are people who are working at our schools who may have had an Instagram when they were in high school. So they've been on it for years. They know it like the back of their hand. And also, if you have older adolescent students, ask them to help, put together stuff for your school. Maybe you have a yearbook club or something like that, and they're out there taking photos and writing things about your school, and they can help with social media content as well. Other social platforms, I'll go over this quickly. Facebook is a great place to repost blog content and to redirect people to your website, because you can always link people back to your website no matter what on Facebook. YouTube, if you're a school that has any type of video content, whether that's like parenting classes or things like that, that's recorded, you can post that on YouTube and you can grow a presence on YouTube. TikTok, I think in the Montessori space, TikTok is a little bit, it could be beneficial if you have the time and energy, but I don't think it's necessarily the priority. Most of the Montessori related content on TikTok is parents giving tips about Montessori or how much, they integrate Montessori in their home. But you can always repost and reshare TikToks on Facebook. And if you have the bandwidth to create a TikTok account, I say why not? I have a feeling that it's probably going to be the most popular social platform in a few years. But I think that right now, if you have an energy for only one platform, it should probably be Instagram and then Facebook after that. Twitter is great for school news and fun quotes. You can share Montessori quotes, inspirational quotes, or any school updates or events. It's just, you can also always redirect people to your website and relink to your website on Twitter, just like you can on Facebook. Other ways to reach the right families. If you have a great website, only if you have a great website, then you can look into running Google and social ads. And I say having a great website first, because if you're investing a lot of money in running Google ads, especially if you live in a highly competitive area where it costs you a little bit more, you don't want to spend a lot of money on ads and then have them come to a website that isn't going to give them an amazing first impression and make them want to schedule a tour. But running Google ads can really be beneficial if you're looking to grow enrollment. It does take time to learn how to manage Google ads though. So if you're going to do that, you want to do research or you want to find Google ad management, which we do at Nido Marketing as well. So if you're looking for help at running Google ads, because it's very easy to invest a lot of money and not know what you're doing. And then you're really not going to get a good ROI unless you understand Google campaigns. And they're always changing. They're always, we won't lie, it does take time to understand Google ads, but it can be a great way to grow your enrollment quickly. Build community. So whether that's on social media or locally in your city, look at ways that you can get more involved and build credibility for your school and your local community. Plan and organize events that welcome new community members. So when you do an open house, offer value to families, even opening up 1 or 2 parenting classes a year to the wider community can help people dip their toe into Montessori, specifically your school, and then maybe consider it in the future for their children. And get testimonials and social proof. Have a way to collect testimonials at your school. If you don't have any on your website, it's a missed opportunity. And then finally, you want to have a way to measure success. Things like looking at your website analytics, so tracking page visits, how long people viewed your website, average time spent on your website, things like conversion rates, how many visitors are filling out inquiry forms, requesting tours or tuition, email marketing metrics. Are people opening your emails and clicking on any forms that you send? Usually if you're using like a CRM, you can see what percentage of people opened your emails. And that can give you some insights as to whether maybe you can improve them or how you can make them a little bit more valuable. Maybe you can change like the titles, things like that. So you can always look at those metrics. Lead generators and admissions, you want to keep track of the number of inquiries that come in through that, how many tours are being scheduled, growth and enrollment, all of this you can keep track of. And also just ask families how they heard about your school. So when families come in for a tour, you can be like, did you hear about us on social media, on Google? Did you see an ad? And you can just say it helps us figure out like what is actually beneficial to us. If you're looking for resources when it comes to marketing, we have plenty. So check out our Nido Marketing services. We have content services where we create blogs, photos, social posts. We also have our website and CRM services. So if you're looking to build a new Montessori website, we're happy to work with you and build your dream website. We also have email nurture content on Montessori Thrive. So if you're a Montessori Thrive member, we have templates galore, white pages, lead generators, parenting classes and videos, articles, parent communication, enrollment forms, all of that's available on Montessori Thrive. So if you need a resource, check out Montessori Thrive. All right, I think we managed to get through that. We're 1 minute over, but I'll stop to see if anyone has any questions. I know that was a lot of information. Hear from Beth. I'm glad this was helpful. And this recording will be available on our YouTube channel later today. So if this was a lot or you want to take notes, you can always reference it. All of our town halls are available on our YouTube channel. So I recommend exploring those. They're always free to access.
If there were any points that Camilla touched upon, this was kind of an overview that you would like to do a deep dive on, let us know, and we can just do a town hall and focus in on one specific topic.
Yeah, this is very much a broad overview of just Montessori marketing in general. And I appreciate everyone coming here because I know that in the Montessori space, marketing is not the most exciting thing. That's not why we why we do what we do, but it's important because we want to fill our classrooms. We want parents to live our mission, and great marketing can help with that.
Sure.
Well, next week, we're going to focus a little bit more on creating video content. I know that's like a big thing now. Video content is important. So from having videos on your school website to using them on social media, we'll be giving some tips on how you can record them easily, what tools you can use to record. Because I think the impression as well is you need a professional camera photographer to take videos. You don't nowadays. So we'll be giving some tips on how schools can start creating video content because it is becoming more and more important, especially with younger parents. So if that's an area that interests you, we'll be sharing our resources and tips for that next week.
Actually, not next week, but the week after, because next Thursday is.
Oh, yes. November 30th, you're right. enjoy your Thursday off for Thanksgiving.
Those of us in the US and not in Portugal, Camilla.
Oh my gosh. I'll still celebrate. I also just dropped my email in there. So if you have any requests for future town halls, please let me know because I plan these based on requests. So if there's a topic, just reach out to me and let me know. And you can also, oh, hold on, I misspelled my first name on that. It's Camilla.campus. If you have any questions about our resources, social media, or anything like that, you can ask me. I see here from Vicky.
You misspell your last name too.
Did it? Oh my goodness. It's typo after typo today. Here we go. I'll just retype the whole thing. I have a long name. I apologize for that. All right. Well, I guess we won't see you next week. So enjoy Thanksgiving and a couple of days off. I know that will hopefully you'll get some rest, some much deserved rest. But we'll see you back on November 30th. And again, if you have any requests for future town halls, just let me know. We're open to pretty much anything that you guys need help on. So all right. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday, everyone, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.